Hi, in Power BI, you can make a waterfall chart and control it with slicers. But it is not so easy to do it in Microsoft Excel. And that's because the easiest way to make a slicer driven dashboard in Excel is through pivot charts, and pivot charts do not allow waterfall charts, at least as of now. But there is a workaround, and let me show you how. And I'm going to show this to you under two scenarios. One where all the data we need for our variance analysis is in a single table. Another where I'm going to plot the variance between target versus actuals, where target is in one table and actuals is in another table. First, let's look at what we have here in the first case study. In the first one, I have sales of different categories of products across different zones over a period of 2 months. And we are going to plot a waterfall chart where we're going to show this bridge between October sales and November sales with the variance broken down by the zone. So in each zone, what is the increase or decrease in sales and how that has affected the total. In order to create a variance analysis chart, we need certain data points, which we already have here. We need the October sales, the November sales, and the variance or the difference in sales between October to November for each of the zones. We have currently got it done using SUMIFS function. So for October sales, I'm saying I want sum of sales where the month is October. Same way we've also got it for November. So in order to compute the variances, what we have done is we have computed the sales by zone by month, again using SUMIFS. Through SUMIFS, we have said we want sales for the month of October in the zone south. And in the variances column, we have simply computed the delta. November sales minus October sales. Once the data is set, we can create a waterfall chart. If you don't know how to create waterfall charts, you can check out my other video on this topic in which we explain both the new and old way of setting up waterfall charts. So here we have already created it. What we want to do is add a slicer where I can see the variances filtered by product category. In order to set up a slicer, what we need to do is first convert this range into a table. So we have to select this area, go to insert and click on table. You could use the shortcut key Control T for this. Now this has become a table. Once we have a table, we can insert a slicer. So I can go to insert, slicer. We want it by category. We've got the slicer in place. What we have to keep in mind is that right now the slicer is going to filter the table. That is not going to affect my waterfall chart. But in order to make our waterfall chart depend on the slicer, we have to take one more step, or rather two steps. I had already made a video on how to control your formulas with slicer. If you haven't watched it and you want to know it in detail, you can check out that link as well. But for now, let's just quickly get on to the solution. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a column called as is visible. You can give any name you want. In that, we are going to use a subtotal function. Subtotal, let me use the count option here. So 3 is for count. And let me select one of the cells in this row. Let me choose sales here. I press enter and I've got the numbers here, 111. Now the subtotal function, what it would do is it'll count only those cells which are visible. So the moment I filter something out, all those rows which have got filtered out will have value 0 there. Now what we want to do is we only want data for cells that are visible. So we want to make a modification to the SUMIFS function where what we're going to add is we're going to add one more criteria column. The is visible column should be 1. So we want sales where the month is October and the is visible column is 1. Now I have to do it for all the SUMIFS that we have put here. So let me just quickly do that part. So now it's all properly set up. Now what you would notice is when I click on, let's say, dental care, the data here is filtered. And when the data here is filtered, our results are also filtered. And here we are seeing the chart for dental care, detergents, others, toiletries. So if you have already seen my video on how to control formulas with slicers, this part is pretty straightforward. But let's talk about the next scenario, which is slightly complicated. Now let us go to the second case study. In this case study, we have already set up our file to take into consideration this is visible column. So we've got a slicer in place. Our sum ifs formula from the actuals table already has this is visible condition added. But the problem is one slicer can control only one table. Our actuals data will come from the actual sales table, but target sales data is a separate independent table. So when I filter for, let's say, dental care, when I use a slicer, you notice that the actual sales gets filtered and therefore our values are also changing. But nothing is happening to the target table because the slicer is not affecting the target table. Handling this is going to be a little tricky. What can we do here? One thing we can do is we can pull out the is visible status from the actuals table in here using XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP, anything that you're comfortable with. So I'm going to put equals XLOOKUP, lookup for this detergents in the category section and pull out the data that is there in the visible section. Right now all the data is visible, so I'm going to get 1 coming everywhere. The next step what we're going to do is, instead of simply summing up the data, I'm going to use a sum product where we're going to select the array. So to get the totals, I'm going to select the 4 categories across the zones, comma, multiply them with this visibility status. Any number multiplied by 1 is going to give the same number. But if the visibility status goes to 0, that would happen when it's hidden, then these are all going to be 0 and anything multiplied with 0 will go to 0. Let me copy and paste this. Now let's see what happens when I click on, let's say, dental care. When I click on dental care, because dental care alone is visible, that data is 1, everything else has gone to 0. Since all these values are gone to 0, in our sum product functions, these values also get multiplied by 0 and they go to 0. And 628 multiplied by 1, that alone comes as answer. So you can see here, our waterfall chart is automatically changing. The axis is not moving on its own. I think that's because we have manually set the axis label. Let me reset this. Yeah, perfect. And even the issue of manually modifying the axis will not arise if we had made this waterfall chart using the legacy up-down bar structure. In that case, as you can see here, as I change the slices, everything automatically changes. So we'll have a very highly interactive waterfall chart with us. Hope you found the video useful and hope you liked it. Do click on the like button if you really liked it, and do subscribe to our channel and do share the videos with your friends. Thank you very much. Bye bye and take care.